Okay, picking up now where we left off, a couple of things to note that are different. I am now recording this on Monday the 10th. So that's going to change the data slightly here. Now I have disconnected from data simply because I find it can be a bit distracting when you're trying to record a video like this. And a few other things to note here. I am currently working with, as you see, as I noted here, the most current version, and this is a beta. This is a second beta, as we are continuing to add and refine and tweak and improve the product. I'm recording these with the most current version on the assumption that should you be downloading in a trial or you've made the purchase, that you will very soon have access to this same version. But we will continue. There will be new versions coming as we continue to improve the product. But right now, this is the most current version. So you'll notice a couple of small differences when we go to the optimizer. Now, as it relates to the algo, there's no change here. Same algo we were looking at in the prior 3 videos. We've got the RTH hours defined, and then we're just looking at a move above or below, right above or below the 21 EMA. Now I've run an optimization on this, and if I come over to the ATM, you'll see here, well, I've got a pretty, well, let's first look at the results. So I've got outstanding results. All right, it's up 13,000 over, what do we do, 11 trades? All right, well, okay, right, so be careful now, right, because that can be deceptive. So if we dig a little deeper here, we see, oh, okay, well, the win ratio is very high, profit factor very high, but the losing streak and the drawdown here is not particularly good. And then, of course, as you would want to do with anything like this, right? Let me push this off for a second. We want to look at the trades. So clearly, right, this is distorting the numbers, right? So we have this long from, looks like it's over a couple of days, that's finally exiting here as a massive winner. That's an $1,800 winner. Okay, right, so my point being, you want to go back and look at the trades so that you don't have something that's, you know, unrealistic, that's distorting the numbers here. So obviously that's not something anyone's going to sit through over multiple days. But it's not just that you're sitting in that trade; it's that you're missing all the other trades, right? So that's a distortion that we just want to be aware of. It's not that it's inaccurate; it's just that that's not how a trader is going to experience, right? So experience the trading. So that's just something to be aware of. Nothing more than that. Okay. So with that said, let's come back to our ATM here and to our algo. Let's go back to our logic designer here. Let's see how what we can do to improve this. Now, one thing we could do, we could go back to the ATM and continue to try and push and refine the optimization. But I think it would make sense here. It's something very simple to eliminate this problem here, and eliminate the fact that we're looking at an algo here that's starting with a 96 tick stop in the ES. Right? It's probably very few that would be trading that. So let's go back over to our logic. Now I'm going to do something here in the exit conditions here. And this is something that is only available as an exit condition, and I make that point because when I was first fussing with it, I was looking for it on entry. Only available on exit. So we're going to go to add condition, and we're going to do this based on the number of bars. So let me bring this over here just a little bit. So what I want is for the number of bars the trade is open. Oops, here, I'll get the correct one. The number of bars the trade is open to be greater than or equal to 5 candles. 5 bars, 5 candles. Now this does a couple of things for us. One, of course, we eliminate trades that are going off of over 3 days. It should help with some of the extreme drawdown, big losers, because they can only go for 5 bars. So should the stop parameters be outside of a move within 5 bars, it's going to take you out anyway. So that's something right off the bat. And you can see just in adding that here, now I've changed it, right? So I've gone from a $13,000 profit to a $500 loser, same data set. Right? But so we want to now look to the ATM and see if we can improve those results. Now let's go over this very briefly here. Now there's a few things that have changed that are only related to the optimizer. Right, and that is in this current beta version here. You'll see this very soon. Now I know it's going to be, you're going to be very tempted to go look at that. We will get into this in subsequent videos, right? So we will come back and revisit that. But since we're trying to focus here on just the basics of application here, let's go ahead and run this as is and just on the defaults. Now I am going to make a change here and see if we can smooth out the equity curve by optimizing for K ratio. And we'll look at that. Now I'm going to take this down from 300 to 100 generations, because one of the things that we have found in our testing with this, and this is a bit of an issue with Ninja, when we're working with a non-time based bar like this, you're going to find more accurate results in the optimization and your equity curve if you're working with tick replay enabled for your back test. Well, okay, that's fine, but if you're doing this on 30 days of data and you enable tick replay, it's just going to slow the optimizer down a bit. So you have to be aware of that. Again, if your preference is, as mine is, I prefer to work in non-time based charts myself, but if that is your preference, you're going to have to allow for the optimization to take a bit longer. It's not unreasonable, but it's just longer because it's going through all the tick replay. So that's going to affect a couple of things. One may be the number of generations that you choose. So if you're going to do something, we have people running 1,000 generations. If you're going to do that on 30 days of tick replay or greater, as some people will, well, you're going to want to allow plenty of time for that, right? So for that to run and go through all those generations. So for our purposes here, because I'm trying to keep this simple, because ultimately it's not so much about the result as it is the process and you all understanding the features, what's available to you and what you can do with it. So I'm going to go ahead and optimize here. I'm not going to make any changes here. Let's go for a profit factor. I'll add this in here. Let's see if we can get it to optimize within the K ratio as our key emphasis factor, having it look for a profit factor of 1.5 to 1. Let's see if we can get that to work. Now I'm going to go ahead and run this, and again, as I just noted, because it's going to take a little bit longer, I'm going to just pause the video. But I want to show you something that's a little bit different when we start it. So first, again, just to remind you, in the prior version, you would hit optimize down here. Now in this version, you hit start up here. So let me just go ahead and start that and show you what you're going to see. Hopefully we get something here. Short order as this starts to optimize. There you go. Okay, so what you'll note here is we've got a new representation. So we just sex this up a little bit. It's just a prettier design. And you can see what's happening here as it's going through those 100 generations. You're going to see in real time what it looks like. Now that can be useful here because I can't get to, well, I guess I can, right? So I can, if I bring this back, it's often, as you have seen me demonstrate here, I prefer to have this off the chart. I don't want that up there all the time. So if you like me prefer to have it off, well, I can still see the optimization curve in real time as it's going through those 100 generations. So just again, it's kind of a nice feature. Right? Again, it shouldn't change. It doesn't have any impact on the results. It's just nice to see that as it's going through all of the generations, looking for its optimization tied to K ratio. And you can see here, profit factor is 1.1. It has yet to find something within the parameters here to give it a profit factor of 1.5. That's why it's in red. Right, so I'm going to let this run for a little bit. Oh, we're a third of the way through it here, and then I'll be back momentarily. I actually haven't seen the results myself, so it'll be kind of a surprise for both of us. So stand by. Okay, and here's our result. So there's 100 generations optimized for the K ratio. We were not able to it was not able to find within those 100 generations a profit factor that met our target, so thus you see that highlighted in red. We see the 20% walk forward here, and then I get a series of results down here. This is a new feature we've added. So I can see these results here. Now if I wanted to, say, okay, well let's list it based on profit factor or win rate or drawdown or ratio or K ratio. Here's which is what we had optimized for, net profit. So I can see that there. That's what's reflected right here as well as right here. So, okay, decent result. A couple of things right off the bat that are worth noting here. The max drawdown, now that's pretty substantial, right? It's very visual. We can see it. But note the biggest loser was 291, and that's a function of the fact that we've limited it to 5 bars, right? Now, okay, 5 bars can be a substantial amount of money if you're getting a vertical move, but it's going to reduce that. You're not going to get those multi-day trades as we were looking at before, where we had a great net result but an unrealistic trading experience for anyone working with it. So just so you understand that, I wanted to be sure that you were exposed to the new version here in this beta, as this will be available in the very near term to any that are either trialing or own it as an update. I don't think it's out yet as an update, but it's close as we refine it. Okay, so that we've got that. Now let me go ahead and we want to save this. So I'm going to just go over here to my playlist here. You can see I've got a couple of generations here. I'm going to go ahead and save this as the third one. That's number 3. All right, so I just, it's always a good idea to save it, right? It's very easy to forget to do that, and then you're back here running it again. So let's go ahead and close that here. So we see the net results here. The target was 51 ticks, right? That's so, as you might suspect, in 5 bars, are we going to get 51 ticks? Well, sometimes, right? You might. Let's go ahead and save that, and then let's go look at the trades, right? So you get a sense of it, and this is how you're going to experience it, and how you're going to analyze and say, okay, well, how would I go about approaching this, looking to improve it? Again, I've just got half a day here. Well, you can see this would have been. I mean, this is the trade-off you make with something like this. Now, if we get a move like this, you're only going to get 5 bars of it. But you're also, if it's a loser, you're not going to be taking that full drawdown. So always a bit of a trade-off with something like this. But we can see here, again, it's not that the results are terrible. And my objective here is not to be producing the world's greatest algo. It's just to show you the features so that you might get a feel for, okay, here's how I get started. Now, if I want to work on this, and which I'm going to assume you would, if I want to work on this, what can I identify here as potentially problematic trade conditions for this kind of an algo? Well, since it's just a simple moving average, you can see here when we are on either side of the moving average here, you're going to produce winners, losers, and a lot of commission. When we're trending here, great, right? You're going to get beautiful. You're only going to get 5 bars of it, but you're going to get nice trend, and you're not going to have the big dramatic loser that can really distort your numbers. So that's, I think, gives us a good exposure to just some very basic algo design. You're getting a look at the most current version here of the optimizer before it's released, so it's a bit of a preview there. And we will circle back to dig into the more advanced features that have now been added to the optimizer, where you can refine, tweak it, and get it really very precisely to what your risk parameters are, right? So looking for those better conditions rather than just, as we just looked at it, based off of some broader strokes. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and stop here, and we will continue on in this series here, and I'll see you on the next video.